is part of travel news. So the United States FDA has approved CBD medication, and the TSA is updating their policies on their website. And this is according to foxnews.com. TSA revealed that they were made aware of medication prescribed for pediatric epilepsy that contains CBD, which was approved by the FDA. And as soon as the agency learned of the drug, they updated their What Can I Bring section of the TSA website accordingly. Now, we laughed about the dispensaries, and we're talking about CBD. Don't get it twisted that you're not allowed to bring cannabis products on board the ship when you visit Alaska or any other destination where cannabis is legal now. But if you are using CBD for medicinal purposes, you can bring some back. You need to look at the TSA website and find out if you qualify. A lot of times they want you to have a prescription under your belt that says so, but use your own judgment. Be smart about it. Next, some guy took a sack of moose poop through Juneau Airport security. I'm going to say, when we were in Juneau and we were going to the glaciers, I've never seen so much poop in a space. And there were droppings of big loads of poop on the trail where we were walking initially, because it looked like a herd of moose had come across recently prior to us getting there. And it's not gross. It's really kind of dried. Looks like petals. I don't know what it looks like. About the size of a bullet, and it's not messy or dry. Anyway, that's too much poop talk. But anyway, so this guy decided that he was coming through the airport, and the TSA officer opened the bag, saw the moose poop inside, and after talking with local officers, the passenger told the TSA officers that he collects this and likes to present it for politicians and their bleep policies. They sent him and his sack on their way. So evidently, poop is not illegal on the plane. It didn't have a smell or an odor. And so they were nice enough to let him go on his way. Dig that. You can't take some other things on board, but you can take moose poop. I think that's quite hilarious. The other thing is here's some tips on having a non-stressful airline situation. Be nice to your gate agent. Airlines often prioritize frequent flyers for upgrades. So if you're a frequent flyer, you may get an upgrade if you ask for it. Frequent flyers also get outstanding service. So flying the same airline is a plus. You can sometimes get a better seat assignment at the gate. About 30 minutes before departure, you may want to ask and see if there's a window seat or a seat with more legroom available. Be flexible and accommodating for families traveling together. And when you do that, they tend to give you some benefits for being a good passenger. If you miss your connecting flight, suggest another carrier. Talked about our friend David, who was on the trip with us. And when he was leaving Vancouver, this particular situation happened. His flight from Vancouver to wherever he was connecting through was late departing. He was going to miss his connection, and he contacted me and wanted to know what he could do. And I told him, go ask them to put you on another airline. And that's exactly what happened. Because the other one, he was going to have to sit in the airport for like 20 hours or something crazy like that. And so he asked for a different airline. They hate to do that because they think that the airline you originally booked on is losing money. But they need to do it to take care of the customer. And that's exactly what happened. So suggest another airline carrier. Occasionally, gate agents can hold a flight if your connection is running late. And if you don't have a seat assignment, don't worry, because it's not always an overbooking situation. And at the gate, they will give you the best seat available. And sometimes it's even better than what you paid for. So those are the trends Alaska trends and a little bit more, weekly news, for this week. And it's about Alaska, but it's also about what's actually happening in the world of travel, the way I see it. If you don't know, I get thousands of emails with travel news, and some of this it's just too much for. I could have a show every day to just talk about travel news. Would you like for me to do that? If so, let me know, and maybe I will consider it. I doubt it, but anyway. So when I get back, I'm going to take another quick break. When I get back, we're going to talk about some things to do in Alaska. Some things we did, some things we didn't, but I think you should know about it. This is Karen Duncan, your bucket list buster. I'll be back in a minute with things you should do in Alaska. You're listening to Your Bucket List Buster with host Karen Duncan on Spreaker.com, Spotify, iTunes, and iHeartRadio. Welcome back to Your Bucket List Buster. This is Karen Duncan, your host, and we are talking about Alaska today. So, Alaska, destination, things that you should do. Fish. I talked about it when Mitchell and I were talking on the show earlier. I wish I'd gone fishing. I wanted to go fishing. And the only reason I didn't really push it a lot was because I was afraid of the cold and I wasn't sure how I was going to feel about being on a boat, moving across that water in the cold. So next year I do plan on doing it. But fishing in the Resurrection Bay is one of the things that is huge in Seward and near the Kenai Fjords National Park, so I highly recommend it. Finding the Big Five: caribou, wolves, bears, and moose. Those are the things you want to have your camera ready for when you're in Alaska. Hiking the Chilkoot Trail, follow the footsteps of tens of thousands of hopeful gold prospectors. It's a 33-mile trail. I didn't do that. We did go hiking though, and there are trails that are available to accommodate almost everyone. I highly, highly, highly recommend that you get some good walking shoes and take a real good hike in some of these destinations in Alaska. Rafting. This I would recommend during the summer seasons, especially late June, July, August, when it's a little bit warmer than when we were, so just in case you get wet. But the Charlie Rivers, Alaska has thousands of rivers, and I think that for those that like to be in the water, this could be a really good thing. Pack a tent, stay at one of the 7 public use cabins, or sleep under the stars. Explore the backcountry. No trails, no roads, no people. Backpacking. Lace up your hiking boots and explore the backcountry. This is when you will need to be quite aware of the safety of what's going on around you, but there's all kinds of national parks and preserves available in Alaska that for people that are really, really diehard outdoorsmen, you should do. Kayaking the Glacier Bay. The bays, the glaciers are just phenomenal, and you get to admire the snow-capped mountain ranges, the coastal beaches, protected coves, fjords, the capping of glaciers. You get to see whales and porpoises, sea lions. It's just amazing. Bird watching. I have an amazing picture of an eagle that was just sitting on top. Actually, it was 2 eagles sitting on a nest when we were in Icy Point Strait. I always get those backwards, but eagles are everywhere. You can see eagles all over, and they're so majestic. And so if you're a bird watcher, then you will definitely want to go to Alaska. Get a mountain bike. It's a great place. I could appreciate having a bike there, because some of the trails that we went on, I would have gone further had we had bikes, or had more time, or just been a little more prepared to go a little bit further. And next time I would do that. But biking to a ghost town is one of the top 10 things to do. Ski to a glacier. Well, you know, you can cross country ski. They've got helicopters that can drop you on top of a mountain so that you can ski down. You could really do that. And then drive a dog team. That's on a lot of people's bucket list, and I would highly recommend that you do that. So here is, according to months, some things to do. So active glaciers are June and July. That's when they're capping, which means that the ice is breaking off and going into the water. Bear watching is June through August. Ice caves, July through mid-September. Kayaking in the fords, late May to mid-September. Polar bear watching, August to October actually is the best time, right before they go to sleep. Midnight sun, May through August. We got to see that. It's incredible. I mean, to know that you're on the same planet and you've got these different times of day. And we were able to see it from the perspective that we were coming from Japan. So for 6 days straight, we had to turn our clocks ahead an hour. And then to know that we were on the west coast of the world, and then where we live in Panama was a totally different time. Our times were so screwed up there for a minute. A whale watching, April through August, we saw some whales. Glacier hiking, May through September, we did that. Cured salmon strips, and I'm so mad because we bought some cured salmon strips, and I left them in the refrigerator on the cruise. But that's some good stuff. It's like beef jerky, salmon beef jerky, but it was so good. Bird watching, May through June. Salmon fishing, May through August. And the Northern Lights, September through mid-April. So it's a lot to do, a whole lot to do in Alaska. And I really hope that I have inspired you in some way to see this. It was a spiritual moment for me, being in Alaska. And that's not even to talk about the indigenous people of Alaska and the Native and local Native Americans and indigenous Indian communities of Alaska. The people were amazing. I wanted to make sure that I bought something that was indicative of that place in my life. So that I could hold on to it, something that was made by someone local. If you're into art, there's all kinds of arts and the dream catchers, and it's just, it is a spiritual place, and I hope that you get an opportunity to go. I really want you to go with us next year, but I know that that's not conducive to everybody going next June. So let's take a look at what the Wireless Traveler is doing this week. Our friends over at Telecom Thursday Tips from Wireless Travelers. Remember a few months ago we leaked the new product, launched the world's smallest, thinnest wireless charger? Well, it happened, and what a success. They launched with T-Mobile in the States just before Mother's Day. Perfect timing, right? And the hot little charger sold out on T-Mobile's website in less than 11 days. I have to tell you, just coming back from my bucket list cruise through Asia and Russia, you do rely on your electronic gear and not running out of power. Let me just tell you, folks, that my little portable mobile Wi-Fi was a godsend while I was in Japan, because I got to do some banking and make some calls and do some work before we got on the cruise, especially when you're on the go the whole time and doing shore excursions. No one has the time to go looking for charging cables and outlets, let alone wait around in a coffee shop for your phone to charge. So I totally get how a pocket-sized charging pad that is sleek and elegant would be perfect to pack in your pocket, purse, or travel bag to quickly charge your smartphone. And they come in leather or material with cool colors of white, navy, and rose. Just place your phone on the circular pad as it charges through your protective case and doesn't produce any heat like regular charges. It works on all iPhone 8s and above and the Samsung S6 and above. We also love that it is waterproof, so safe in the kitchen around the kids and while cruising overseas. By the way, it is the only waterproof charging pad on the market currently, and wireless too. Extra bonus. So where do you get this extra fast charging device? Some T-Mobile stores still have available stock while on back order, but if you want to secure one before your trip to